Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 40. Can you believe it's been 40 weeks of me doing these vlogs? That's almost a year. 12 more weeks and we literally hit a year of me doing these vlogs. Now, if you've missed any of the previous vlogs, you can check them out on my YouTube channel, of course, or on my website, DrCliffAuD.com. But in today's vlog, I am again going on a rant because I am going to be talking about you getting ripped off with hearing aids. And what I'm going to preface this with is a press release that was from the state's attorney general here in Arizona, Attorney General Mark Brnovich. And on October 8th, so just a couple days ago, they released a press release talking about these online companies that are selling hearing aids that are ripping individuals off, and they're primarily targeting seniors, okay? It goes on to explain that since 2017, the FDA relaxed restrictions on the sale of hearing devices and amplifiers. There have been dozens of companies coming out with these quote-unquote over-the-counter hearing aids that are not technically over-the-counter hearing aids, okay? Because over-the-counter hearing aids is a specific designation that is going to be given by the FDA, and we don't even know what that designation is. We have no idea what constitutes an over-the-counter hearing aid, but that does not stop these online companies from throwing that terminology around and saying, hey, now you can get hearing aids for significantly cheaper. You can get the exact same hearing aids that you get inside of an audiology clinic, and you can just buy them online, and they cost you like 1/20th of the price or something ridiculous like that. Well, it has gotten so out of control that the state's attorney general actually had to release a statement on this. And basically, what they say right here is, in the era of new technology and self-service, many innovations bring true improvement to quality of our lives. Consumers, however, need to be careful before purchasing these products, said General Brnovich. As the Arizona consumers should be wary of deals that appear too good to be true and do their research to avoid being scammed. And it goes on to say that there are a lot of these online, hearing aid companies that are selling you devices for a couple $100, maybe $1,000, just under $2,000, that you can actually buy from China for $2.50. Now, I know there's individuals out there who like to say, Cliff, there's only an amplifier, a microphone, and a receiver inside of a hearing aid. Those things should cost a few bucks to manufacture. And you know what? You're right. If you want to sell a really crummy, cheap amplifier, you can spend a few bucks to manufacture it, but that does not make it a hearing aid, and that does not give it the same performance characteristics. And if you still want to make that argument, it definitely shows what your lack of understanding is when it comes to hearing aids. Now, I don't want to disparage anybody from this. Basically, I'm doing this as a public service announcement to warn you that when you go and you buy devices online, there is a high probability that you are buying a product from a company that is actually scamming you. And this is how it works. They usually give you some kind of crazy deal like, okay, this hearing aid is normally worth $5,000, but we're going to sell it to you for a limited time only for $99. Okay? And that's how a lot of these companies work. They give you this this restricted time frame that you have to make a decision by, in 5 hours or less, otherwise the deal goes away and it goes back up to full price. They give you a really, really low price. They price anchor you, which means they tell you one price to get your mind to think, okay, that's what it's worth. And then they tell you that you can get it for a significantly lower price. So automatically, subconsciously, you believe that it is an amazing deal. The problem is that the things that they're selling you are complete junk. The complete junk to the point when you actually get them, they either don't work or they actually make your hearing worse when you wear them. And there's research out there that shows that a lot of these amplifiers that you buy online, or these amplifiers that try to be legitimate companies, actually make your hearing worse, to the point where from a dollar per, for benefit ratio, it goes in and says that these companies should actually pay you money to wear their products because it actually makes your hearing worse. It is crazy to think about. But so General Brnovich, and here's the issue that I have. I've been warning consumers for years about these online companies that are having these shady marketing tactics, trying to sell you their absolute complete pieces of garbage hearing technology. And here we are a couple years later, and Attorney General Brnovich, and I applaud his office for trying to do something to warn consumers, but they're years late here at this point. There are companies out there, in fact, there's a company that's right here in Scottsdale, Arizona, that has been peddling their junk for years at this point that I've been warning people about on my videos, and I'll link a couple of those videos in the description of this video. But why isn't his office actually taking legal action against these companies? Because they know there's a company that's here in Arizona that is doing this type of stuff. And I would rather they actually, enforce their laws rather than just warn people. I've been warning people, okay? That being said, it is nice that he's actually doing something at this point. But he gives some advice to consumers, and keep these 5 tips in mind before buying over-the-counter hearing aids. First is the FDA has not approved any over-the-counter hearing aids. They have not even approved this yet, okay? Over-the-counter hearing aids are not regulated and may simply be sound amplifiers which may be of poor quality and not work for those with significant hearing loss. So if you're someone who has anything worse than a mild level of hearing loss, then these amplifiers are likely not going to work for you, and they could potentially damage your hearing. So keep that in mind anytime you're trying to save a quick buck for these devices. Number 2, be skeptical of testimonials or good reviews on a company's website. That is because all of the reviews on these companies' websites, and there are a ton of them out there, are all fake. They are fake. You can tell that they're fake when you read through them and you're like, wow, I see, 3,000 positive reviews and not a single negative review. I have negative reviews on my website. I try to provide the highest level of care and service, and I am as fair as I can possibly be with every single patient, and I still have negative reviews. What do you think the chances are a company that has sold quote-unquote thousands of hearing aids doesn't have a single negative review? The chances are completely unlikely. And they actually tell you to check out the Better Business Bureau and other objective consumer review sites before purchasing. Keep in mind, there are a lot of these so-called objective consumer websites that are also fake. So when you go online and you're looking for these different reviews, and they have these companies that say, besthearingaids.com, and it lists all these different hearing aids, and you have all these cheap, crappy amplifiers at the top, those have all been paid for. So you're being lied to again. Again, online, and I know that I have a lot of content online, you should only believe what I say after doing your due diligence of what I'm actually saying, okay? Now, they say that any company that has an F rating, something is wrong and you should be aware. Well, there's a company out there called Nano Hearing Aids, and I've referenced them already a number of times in other videos. They actually have had their Better Business Bureau accreditation revoked, but they still have a B- in their rating. So you can't even trust the Better Business Bureau with their rating system to give you a straight answer. Now, if you go to their Better Business Bureau page, you can see that there are thousands of complaints about this particular company, yet they still have a 4-star rating. Why do they have a 4-star rating? Because the companies that have these horrible, horrible products that they're selling and have a ton of negative ratings, they go and they pad their own stats. They essentially hire these companies to go in and write positive reviews on these Better Business Bureau websites, so you can't even trust what you're getting on the Better Business Bureau website, okay? Now, you can tell, I'm telling you, I'm going off on a rant here today because I am freaking upset about this whole thing, and I'm sick of people getting ripped off and taken advantage of because they don't know any better. The third one here is price shop diligently. You can often find the exact same product at varying prices. I don't like this tip because it's basically saying, hey, if that piece of junk amplifier that you're going to be buying for a couple $100, if you can buy it for, on a better deal, then go ahead and get it. That's the dumbest advice I have ever heard. A piece of junk product is a piece of junk product, whether you spend $1,000 for it or whether you spend $1 for it. Do not go around and price shop for these crappy online amplifiers. Number 4 is scrutinize the refund return policy carefully before you buy. Take note of the timeframes and conditions for refunds. If you go onto these consumer review sites and you can filter out and see which one of the reviews you're like, oh yeah, that person's legit. Because all of the complaints are about this return policy that these companies don't uphold. Meaning it says you get a, 45-day return policy, we will refund 100% of your money, and then you go and you try to do the refund and they ignore you to the point where it's past the 45 days and they're like, well, you can trade up for a different product, but we can't actually give you a refund because you're outside of that window. And even if you do send back your product, they're like, oh, we didn't get your product, okay? You are basically going to forfeit hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on which company you buy from. And some of these, now that they know that price anchoring works on you, they actually have been increasing the prices of their products to get better margin for themselves, but the products are still absolutely horrible. But now it's not even you risking a couple $100. It's you risking thousands of dollars when you go online and you buy from these companies that are out there. It is absolutely comical that there have not been massive class action lawsuits against a lot of these companies. Number 5 is it says, consider getting a hearing screen and opinion from a hearing specialist who can tell you whether an over-the-counter hearing device will work for you. This one's up in the air. Now, of course, I believe that you should go into a hearing care professional to actually understand what's going on with your hearing loss before you make any purchasing decision whatsoever. But a lot of these individuals, when you go in and legitimately you want to get a cheaper hearing aid or whatnot, a lot of them are going to try to sell you on an expensive product. Don't fall for that either, okay? A lot of them will have an affordable option for you. You just have to be very clear with how much money you're willing to spend, and they will find a solution for you. Trust me, okay? So not a bad piece of advice, but it's kind of outside of the context what they're actually trying to warn you about here. If you feel like you've been a victim of fraud, you have to make sure that you reach out to your attorney general, okay? And I know that a lot of individuals who watch my vlog and watch my channel do not live in Arizona, but you can contact your own state attorney general and tell them that you have been scammed. You can go to their website. They usually have forms where you can submit that you've been scammed, because the Arizona Attorney General has received, over the last year, 140 complaints about over-the-counter hearing aids, 140. And that's only the individuals who have actually complained to the Attorney General. You know that there are thousands of individuals right here in this single state of Arizona who have bought these products and have been ripped off by them. Either they have not worked, they have damaged their hearing, they have not received a refund even though they've requested it. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, I do fully expect to receive a lot of backlash from this video because hearing aids are expensive. And I'm basically just disparaging companies out there who are trying to make hearing treatment more affordable. And what I will say is this: there are a lot, more than I can count on two hands, of different charities and companies out there who are willing to get you hearing aids for very little or no money whatsoever. You just have to do your due diligence. Start researching. Go online. Don't fall for these cheap, crappy amplifier companies out there that are trying to sell you their pieces of junk, and when they don't work for you, they don't give you a refund, okay? Spend that money instead on going to a hearing care professional who has lower cost options that are still actual hearing aids, and that you have some support to go along with those hearing aids, or find a charitable organization that will give you hearing aids for almost nothing, if not nothing at all. Okay? There are affordable options out there for you. You don't have to go through life not being able to hear because you can't afford it. Not being able to afford hearing treatment is not an excuse, okay? And it should never be an excuse that comes out of your mouth again when it comes to the reason why you're not choosing to treat your hearing loss, okay? Or a reason that you're choosing not to treat your hearing loss, okay? Go online, do your due diligence, you'll be able to find a solution, I promise. And if you can't find it, reach out to me and I will find the solution for you, okay? Wow. That was probably the quickest video I've ever done because I'm just on fire right now. Ever since I saw that, I'm going to tag the Attorney General on this and tell them they actually need to take action against these companies, especially ones that are inside of Arizona that are ripping off local individuals here in Arizona and individuals all over the country and possibly even the world. But don't get scammed, okay? Do your due diligence, do your research. If a deal looks too good to be true, guess what? It is too good to be true. Okay, I have ranted enough for today. I was going to be doing a clinic update today, and I decided not to because obviously my blood's boiling from all of these companies online that are just ripping consumers off and taking advantage of seniors, which makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. But next week, I'm actually going to be doing a vlog update of the clinic because it is coming along fantastic. In fact, I'm going to go there right now and record some footage of the stuff that they've done over the past couple weeks, and it's going to blow your mind. So stay tuned for next week, and as always, I'll see you next week.